Okay, folks. Okay, everybody. Welcome to the regular council meeting of the City of Cross Lake, Monday, September 9th. It's now 7 o'clock. Let's stand for the pledge. All right, first action is we got to approve the additions to the agenda. We've got some additional bills.
I'll make a motion to approve the additions to the agenda.
Well, I should list them first, Jacqueline.
Go ahead.
Second one is the approval of the repairs to the Welcome Center property. So now we need a motion to approve those.
I'll make a motion to approve them.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Let's see, we got Sandy on Zoom today. You need to do roll call.
Marcia,
Yes.
Jackson,
Yes.
Dave,
Yes.
Aaron,
Yes.
Sandy,
Yes.
motion carries.
Sandy is under the weather today, so she's got a curtain. Next on the agenda is public forum. Action may or may not be taken on any issue raised. If council requires more information or time for consideration, the issue will be placed on the next agenda. Speaker must identify themselves, name and address. Does anybody have anything? Come on up. Our WAPOA representatives are looking out for us.
Well, I'm guilty as charged.
Okay, good.
I'm Tony Coffey, 36109 Foxgrove Lane, Pequot Lakes, Minnesota. I am president of WAPOA, and I'm here to ask that the council consider the closure of the public, or not the public access, but the work access on Rush Lake. We have discovered that there is starry stonewort right there at that access. Both the PLM, Plant Management Company, and the DNR have confirmed starry stonewort. I don't know how many of you know what starry stonewort is, but it's a highly invasive species. It is an algae. It is not a plant. It has no vascular system. Each cell is separate. Each cell must be killed in order to eradicate it. It is extremely prolific. It is very difficult to boat through. As Dr. Rogers from Clemson University stated, starry stonewort in a scale of 1 to 10 is a 10. So we do need to do something to make sure this does not spread to the rest of the chain. The only place that PLM is a plant management company that has done significant amounts of studies around the chain. We do over 30 spots around the chain. All the public accesses, we try to make sure that they are surveyed each year 3 times. We usually did 2 accesses, two surveys each year. Last year we added a third, and this year it's the 3rd survey that found starry stonewort there at that access. So we're very concerned about that. And with the DNR finally saying, yes, it is there. So we feel that the access should definitely be closed to in and out traffic there. The other thing is that we will be requesting the sheriff quarantine the area to make sure that there's no boat traffic. We're more concerned that there will be prop wash that will push those bubles. One of the problems about starry is that it's a bubble that prolificates the algae. And so once it gets downriver, then all of a sudden it's going to get into the Mississippi, so we have a very difficult situation. There were a group of us from WAPOA that went to Coronas. It is the first lake in Minnesota in 2015 to have been where starry was discovered. If you ever go to Coronas, you will find that it's not a pretty picture. It is hugely expensive. They spend over $200,000 a year on a lake that's a fifth the size of the whitefish chain in order to try to control it. There is no way to eradicate it. It can only be controlled. So at this point, we feel that we need to be preemptive, make sure that access gets closed, and we do other things. We are working with the DNR very closely, with the county very closely, and working to make sure this doesn't spread. So we would ask that the council close that access immediately, not tomorrow, or not, yeah, tomorrow, but not next week, but immediately. It needs to be done. And I appreciate Mayor Nevin. He was at the Cross Laker meeting this morning, as was Jack Jackson, and I appreciate your support of that. Mayor Nevin actually suggested that boulders be placed there at the access, which I really appreciate that, because as opposed to barricades, which can be moved, boulders can't be. So I appreciate that.
So Tony, we've talked to the Public Works. They are willing to do that tomorrow.
That's fantastic.
We will take quick action on it.
I really appreciate that. The other thing that I would like to bring up is that there has been in the past permitting done to lake service providers to use other accesses that are not the public accesses on the chain. So when we talk about the public accesses, we're talking about South Cross, we're talking about the Corps of Engineers, we're talking about those other accesses. It is important that we consider cutting off these other right-of-ways, accesses, because it is unfortunately, it seems to be a workboat that brought this to the chain. Not the places where it is monitored and the lake is covered, the accesses that are covered. So it is important in my mind that we consider rescinding any permits that have been done and only using the accesses that are, have inspectors at them at this point, so, or monitored, so.
How late in the season are the inspectors active?
You know, that's the problem, Dave, is Mayor Nevin. I'm concerned because we would have to ask the county to provide inspectors at those accesses, but that's one of the pieces that we're working with the county on, so.
Okay, there's going to be a lot of pushback to close all those little accesses, so.
I realize that. The threat to the chain, though, is pretty significant.
If the other accesses are manned and there's somebody is there to do inspections,
that is a viable request.
Justify doing the other ones.
I agree.
Do we have the authority to do that?
To close them? Well, most of them are city-owned access lots that have been improved for access. So we have control over those access lots. I gotta believe we do.
Yeah, I think we do. If not, let's at least try.
Yeah.
Aren't they all mainly right-of-ways, TJ? Correct. That's right.
And just to clarify, are we talking about the access that's on Jensine Patch Road? Okay.
Yeah. John, you want to jump in?
No, I mean, we can show you where it is. There's a, I don't know if you can see the little blue dots that are on here. That's where PLM
Right.
took their samples.
So this area here, that is the channel from the Rush Channel into Lower Whitefish. And that's the little access back there.
And that is at the end of Anchor Point. If you go all the way out to Anchor
Correct.
Point, that's where it ends.
Correct.
So,
And this is where, this is the right of way. This is the channel.
well, that's an unusual right-of-way there, John. Who drew those lines?
I suspect a surveyor that might have had a couple extras.
That's the only one we're going to put boulders by.
Yep, right now.
Yeah.
Correct.
Well, we can't be out there putting boulders on every access on the lake, but I wouldn't think.
I would suggest we also consider putting something facing the water so that people who may pull up there understand that.
Yeah,
We
X is
don't
closed
think
or
it's a
something,
good
some kind of signage.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder if the sheriff could help us out with that. Do they have stuff?
Well, actually, we've made a request to the county and the DNR that additional signage be placed at all the accesses, at least the public accesses, that there is starry in the lake, and that we need to be careful of going into the lake and coming out of the lake.
Where can the public get educated about this starry wart or something? it's
The most, I think the best place is the University of Minnesota's Minnesota Aquatic Invasive Species Research Center. We sent out an email today with the link to that. If you would like me to, Mayor, I can send that to you, and you can disseminate or have the city disseminate that. But I think that is the best
I
place.
think we should try to make it available to them.
Right.
It is a mat, I mean, it totally closes off the sun going through it if it keeps going, right?
Why don't we put it on the website?
Yeah,
I agree.
I think we should, so get it to us or to somebody at the
If you'd be
city.
kind enough to include Lori, our city administrator,
I would be happy
then she
to.
can help get it on the website.
I'd be happy to.
Thank you.
Okay, guys, thanks a lot. I think we should make a motion to.
I'll move that we put boulders at this one specific one, and as we find that there's others that could be problematic, that they be done automatically.
Second.
Okay, and Patrick, where is he? He's hiding now. Oh, you're, so you know what you got to do? Yep. Okay. Motion and second. Shar, you want to do it?
Jackson.
Thank you,
Yes.
guys.
Dave.
Yes.
Aaron.
Yes,
Sandy.
yes,
Marcia.
All right, anybody else? Public forum? Not seeing any movement. We'll close public forum. Next is the consent calendar. All items are listed to be considered routine by the city and will be acted on by one motion. There will be no separate discussion unless a citizen or council member so requests. Does anybody have anything? Not hearing anything. We need a motion to approve the consent calendar.
I so move to approve the consent calendar as submitted.
Second.
Okay, all in favor, Shar?
Dave.
Yes.
Aaron.
Yes,
Sandy.
yes,
Marcia.
Yes.
Jackson.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Next, the mayor and council members report. First on the ticket is the monuments at Pinewood Cemetery. Do we have any paperwork for that? There was something in here, yeah. We have got some people requesting larger monuments at the cemetery. I guess, who can speak intelligently to this? Can you? Sure. Okay, thanks. Well, we got height restrictions on them.
Correct. Our rules have a height restriction of 32 inches from the ground to the top of the monument. In the past, there have been many requests to put a larger stone in that councils have granted. However, many have gone in without permission at all, and I think that's where the problem has happened. And
So the last one I recall was Jim Galloway.
no, well, yeah,
I mean, that formally came here.
right.
And
Another one before that was a very large monument, and the people that had the grave behind them couldn't see their stone.
so I guess it goes back to the all-around rule is respect your neighbor, huh?
So we asked at that time when Jim was in, that everyone who wanted a variance come in individually and ask for permission.
Yeah.
That is why these two are in front of you.
So we've got a couple of requests now. Is there any objection or any problem that a neighboring site is going to have or anything?
No, these are not going to block anyone. They're pretty much in the open areas.
And they're not bigger than any of the ones around it. Or than within our limit. They're only like 3 or 4 inches above what our standard is. I don't have an issue with it.
So does the council, anybody else, any questions, comments about it? There it is. All right, let's just,
I'll make a motion that we approve these 2 headstones.
okay, a motion and a second. Go ahead, Shar.
Aaron.
yes,
Sandy.
yes,
Marcia.
Yes.
Jackson.
Yes.
Dave.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Yeah, and it's, sorry about the delay to anybody if they're doing it. I guess the word's got to get out that they just got to come in and ask. And I know timing is critical when you have something like this. You don't plan for these things all the time, so I apologize for any delay we might cause, but Okay, next, number 2, approval of the welcome flags. Is somebody going to come up and speak to this? Good.
Good evening. This is, can we put this up there? This is a banner that we had made a while ago, and we have double-sided Cross Lake welcomes you with the loon. We're looking for 18 of these to be put on the new light poles all around town. And the total cost, as you can see, is $1,098. And if we want Upland, Josh from Upland to install them, it would be another $540 to have him install them.
And if we wanted to redesign with different artwork,
That, yes, we
I
could do
mean,
that.
that's part of, well, that's $150 to $300
Right,
for the 18 of them,
right,
correct?
right.
So my only hesitation here, Pat, is how are we gonna brand the city? Because TJ is coming with a brand for the community center, and it's a little different than this. It's kind of similar to it.
I think that's a decision that you would have to make. I think for now, it would be great to get something up on these poles. We've also discussed adding, the town square put in Christmas wreaths with red bows on their light poles, which they will do again. And we're looking into matching those, so that possibly that could be an option for some Christmas decorations on these light
Do
poles.
you have any cost for that at this point?
No, not at this point, I don't. We're
So
looking
you'll
into
come
that.
next week or something
Yeah.
with that?
Yeah.
Or next month?
And in talking about that, I'll just give these to Shar. She can pass these out if you want this. In consideration for the budgeting process, which I'm sure we're going into now, I don't think there's been a public meeting for budgeting, because we usually go to those.
Yep.
Is there one coming up,
I don't know.
the 18th of September? Okay. The things that we would like to consider for the budgeting process are the banners, Christmas lights, possible different banners, new banners, whatever might be the branding, I don't know. We have 2 signs, we have 3 signs now, the one in the middle of the roundabout that matches this, and the one out on 3 towards 50 Lakes, and the one out on County Road 16, that are the same design. And the loon goes with the loon center, so, you know, if you want to do something different than that, they can certainly design something different.
What are the other 2 signs? North Manhattan Beach and south by Build All Lumber. Those 2 signs, are they different?
Those are the lions that they put in years ago. The Welcome to Cross Lake.
They should be incorporated with the plan, right?
The lions are kind of their own entity. I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah.
I think that would be a conversation to have with the lions. I know when the one got damaged from, I don't know if it was from a storm or just rotted out, they did have to fix that. But they want to have their Lions logo and all their stuff about the Lions on that sign. And so,
Well, we should discuss it, just, maybe it's all right, you know?
yeah. Well, to consider in your budgeting process, the banners, Christmas lights, we talked about benches with slabs under them. That's not part of the county project. That's not part of the road project. So we need to get in contact with TJ and identify those spots. We had that conversation before. Identify after, in meeting with the Cross Lakers, it was felt that we kind of need to see the finished project with the sidewalks in place and the green and how this is all gonna look, and then where would be the best place to put maybe some possible benches and kiosks. And so those would be additionally in the budgeting process to try to have that in your hat for next year. Also, the green space maintenance for the roundabout, the stormwater ponds, all the green spaces with the construction project. Who's gonna take care of those? Who's gonna trim the bushes? Who's gonna pluck out dead stuff, and who's gonna clean those up? And do we have a plan for that? I know that there's a 2-year warranty on the plants, and I don't know who comes and checks that. And then who does the mowing? One thing that I find really irritating, especially down the new roundabout on County Road 4, is they put the sidewalks in and they put the stuff in and it's not mowed, it's a bunch of pile of weeds. And it seems to me if they're gonna put the sidewalks in and go to that effort, they should mow it. So are our city employees going to mow the green space areas around our sidewalks, or how is that gonna work? And I think that needs to be part of your,
I believe we have
Budgeting.
agreed that we're gonna do the maintenance on it, not the county, whatever we do there.
okay, so we have
I
someone in
think-
place to do the gardening aspect
Yeah.
of, okay.
No, and Cindy had a name of somebody that you were gonna bring forward, right? So we could. I think I've shared his name with you. Right.
We
But
do,
I think there needs to be some action on not just letting that fall through the cracks, because, yeah, we're in the fall and it's watered now and it looks great, and then, you know, winter's gonna
Yeah.
happen, and then next spring, we don't wanna be caught in May when we want everything to be beautiful and green and welcoming, and have there be a bunch of dead stuff, or have there just need to be general gardening work done, just maintenance of it. So I'd like that to be considered.
are you thinking about the banners for next year? Put that in the budget, or are you asking for the banners now? These
Now,
Cross
for
Lake
this year.
now?
So I think we've got a fund, right, that we're talking about. We've got some money for the beautification of the road and whatever.
Well, we budgeted $200,000 for that specific purpose, so that should go against it.
Does that carry over then into next year's
Well,
budget?
council has the right to say, yes, what's not used gets carried forward, yes.
Yeah. So this request is $1,640. I think we could approve that pretty easily right now. We don't have to budget for it, right? We could take it out of that fund.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would move to approve the upland design and to include installation.
And you,
I second.
I'm sorry, what
what
motion?
did you say? And include what?
Installation.
Installation.
Installation, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I
No,
didn't hear
no,
you.
that's fine.
Second,
So Sandy seconded it, actually.
oh, I didn't hear, her. I'm sorry.
So go ahead, Shar.
Sandy,
Yes.
Marcia,
Yes,
Jackson,
Yes.
Dave,
Yes.
Aaron. Motion passes.
Thank you, and I will call Josh at Upland and tell him this has been approved, and then he can give the bill to Shar, just like before with the sign, same thing. Thank you.
And then the wreaths. You should bring those sooner than later. So
We
could
will.
take a look at them.
Yeah, we're also looking at the Light Up the Dam Committee, who does such a great job of doing all the lighting around the dam, and seeing if they're interested in doing the trees in the middle with the lights, possibly.
Yeah.
They get a lot of donations of lights and a lot of stuff. There's a great committee. So we'll be looking into that, and we'll bring something at the next meeting.
Okay, and Cindy, that person that you identified to do the maintenance that you gave to me to do something with, which I haven't.
There's quite a few landscapers in the area that would be an RFP for the job.
So what we need to do is have them take a look at the job and give us a price, right?
I can give you some names of landscapers that would have the capacity to do it. And then you would need to send a proposal for the work.
I think you should give it to Lori so she can send out RFPs on it.
Yeah, so, yeah, I mean, if we get it in time for budgeting, we should put a placeholder in for it anyway.
I'm next.
Hi, Cindy. Are you?
Are you?
I am. The agenda to the mayor's report, D2, approval of repairs to the Welcome Center property. So Cindy Mugato with the Cross Lake Chamber of Commerce. And the Welcome Center has been ground zero for the roundabout construction. And the green space at that corner of 3 and 66 has pretty much taken a beating. First of all, I want to thank Patrick and Public Works for refinishing the flagpole. I had a rusty white flagpole there, and this Public Works Department came over and took it down, hauled it down to Cross Tech Manufacturing, had it sandblasted and repainted and put back up, and it's beautiful black shiny flagpole. It looks terrific, matches all the light poles around the roundabout. So that was a huge improvement. I thank you for that. But to bring the property back up to speed, Sievert Irrigation came out, who has been my irrigation guy at the chamber for years, and he had to replace or repair the irrigation throughout the entire chamber yard, do the utility rerouting, the gas, the electric, the telephone utilities, and then just the vehicle and the heavy equipment that had been perusing around that property. He was able to extend, as you know, the irrigation service from the chamber building to the roundabout and to the green shrubbery space in front of Andy's parking lot. The total of that work to the chamber yard there cost $3,600. The county assumed responsibility for $1,850 of that, leaving a balance of $1,750 considered to be the chamber's responsibility because it was in the road right-of-way. Then, I think I did submit that invoice to you. However, here it is if you want to see it again. So that Sievert defined it very clearly that this would be the chamber portion that was in the right-of-way, and then this would be the county portion, and that was where they were close to the building in the private property doing the repair work. Then we have the grass work. So the county projected to, I think included in the bid is the grading of the property and the hydro seeding throughout the city. But that grass seed is an industrial salt snow resistant mix, and that is not the quality of grass that we had at the chamber property. If you remember, we've done a lot of work over the years to make that entrance into town looking beautiful. I asked the county if I could provide them with the grass seed just to put in their hydro truck to seed it with the seed that I wanted, or that my landscaper presented, and they declined that offer. They have a big hydro seed truck. They can't put everybody else, different mixes of grass seed in there. So North Country Lawn Care has provided an additional proposal to do the soil prep and the weed control and to reseed the entire property at the chamber for a total of $1,500. That includes the weed control that goes under because he's not bringing in black dirt, he's just gonna go with what is there. There is some weed control included underneath the hydro seeding. So these expenses are due in large part to the extension of the irrigation and the electrical going from the chamber building into the roundabout over to Andy's. The area is the entrance into Cross Lake, serving as the welcome center for tourists coming into Cross Lake, and I hope you see this as an area that needs to be beautiful and inviting. We have always maintained that property in very pristine condition, and we will continue to do so and to cover those expenses to maintain that property and that ground. So I am requesting the city cover the irrigation repair cost of $1,750 and the seeding cost of $1,500 as a part of the project, totaling $3,250.
Was the county going to provide the seeding,
The
hydro, whatever?
They were going to groom and hydro seed the property with their salts, industrial grade seed that is in no way the seed that would produce the grass that we have maintained over the past many
Will they
years.
do a deduct?
No,
That I don't know.
I don't think they will they?
Well, I would like to ask them if they will deduct. I think somebody should ask.
Should be able to ask them.
I don't know what could hurt.
On quantity based,
They might say $1,500 deduct, yay.
say $50, but you should ask.
Should ask. Don't know unless you ask.
Phil, is that in your ballpark to ask them or not?
I'll be happy to ask them.
Thank you, Phil.
And you can do a square footage, unit cost, figure out what it is. And that was all hydro seed is what they did? Yeah, on the ditches, boulevards, yeah.
They were planning to seed it with a lawn seed mix.
Right.
I'll make a motion that we move forward with the seeding and the irrigation of $1,500 and $1,700, and we hope we get a deduct from the county on seeding.
I'll second that.
All right. Sure.
Marcia,
Yes.
Jackson?
Yes.
Dave?
Yes.
Aaron?
Yes.
Sandy?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you very much. The chamber has already paid Derek Sievert for his work, and we will pay North Country Lawn Care, so I will just ask for a reimbursement from the city.
Can you send me an invoice then, please?
Yes. Give them to you right now. Oh, from the chamber. Yeah, I will. Thank you very much.
That has been painful for you, Cindy.
Yeah,
It's been a process for her.
I've gotten the name the lawn Nazi over the deal, but we've spent a considerable amount of money to get that property looking up to par, and I think the local community appreciates it looking good.
Yeah.
So, thank you.
All right, thank you, Cindy. Now, number 3, resolution accepting donations. God, we got a list of donations today. Cross Lake Fire Relief, $1,297.35 for uniforms. Cross Lake Fire Relief, $46.98 for propane. Tony and Brenda Marks, $1,000 towards the fire department. Pal Foundation, $10,950 for the playground. $189.99 for the library. This is all from the Pal. $2,756 for the tennis net posts. $411.25 for the Pine River Overlook Park. $1,359.96 for batting cage, net, and dog park way station. $1,461.92 for the community garden. That's all the Pell Foundation. Scott and Stacy Larson, $500 for the police department. An anonymous donation of $40 for cart tours at the park. Natalie Stentz, $100 for the dog park. Robin Sylvester donated 9 hours of service as an election judge, training and primary election. Sonia Slack, 11 hours of service, election judge, training and primary. Pat Necco, 10 hours of service, election judge, training and primary with mileage. Pat, I don't know what that is, but. Okay, so we need a motion to approve those generous donations.
I'll make a motion that we accept the donations that were listed.
Second.
Jackson,
Yes.
Dave,
Yes.
Aaron,
Yes.
Sandy,
Yes.
Marcia. Yes. Motion carries.
Next on the agenda is a Lake Trail Initiative update. Mr. O'Connell, please enlighten us.
Thank you for your time. Mike O'Connell, 34088 White Oak Drive. We just wanted to give you a follow-up update as we had another big month of fundraising. As I mentioned last month, we were having the SS4A grant, and we were awarded the full amount of $200,000 that we asked for. So we're really excited about that contribution to the city of Cross Lake. The county also got a $200,000 award, so we will continue to partner with TJ, Pat, and the county as they establish their lake trail initiatives throughout the city of Cross Lake and the communities. There is a $50,000 match for that $200,000K, and as I promised, I would continue to look to not have that come as a city expense. We are applying for a MnDOT matching grant that we should know by January, December, that we should be awarded. That would cover that $50,000. So we're well on our way. As I want to respect your guys' time and the times of these evening meetings, I'll probably not be coming back monthly with updates unless there's something dire need for a vote. Otherwise, I'll plan to come back in 6 months with a grand update of the progress, but we're well on our way. Thank you very much.
Awesome, Mike.
Thank you.
Mike, I got a comment for you. No response required, but in our Public Works meeting, I believe, we're talking about how are we going to maintain these trails.
That's part of the initial presentation, that we would come up with a line item that I would find financing for grants and such like that as a budget item for the city of Cross Lake to do. As TJ mentioned, when we initiated this, and at the time it was Mike Linus as the city administrator, that currently you have, I believe it's 5 miles of trail, or 5 miles of trail. You have enough staff to maintain currently. Adding what we are proposed would not negate that current staffing, especially as you hired a potential flex person between Public Works and Parks and Rec. So that would be a part of their long-term planning that they've been planning for.
But we're on our existing trails, we're coming up to the chip sealing or coating or the maintenance actually of the surface, so I'm not asking you for anything.
So I would say that that would be part of the problem, that we haven't had that planning as of yet. But as we continue to add to those trail
As we
systems,
keep expanding these trails and creating a bigger.
I'd like to find funding for that, to help assist with that, to keep our taxes down and our budget in line.
Thank you much for your work, Mike.
Appreciate it, thanks.
Okay, next is Sandy Farter, but I think Patty, are you here? I am. Okay, are you gonna take over? Give Sandy the night off? This is an update on Green Step Cities.
Yes.
And I believe I've got a little prop up here for you.
Yes, you do. So I have to preface this by saying I did not go looking for Green Step City or for Cross Lake to become a member of the Green Step City. However, I had a granddaughter who was at the University of Minnesota Humphrey School in their Science, Technology, and Environmental Policy program, and she was an intern at the Great Plains Institute. And so she told me about it and said, so you have to have Kristen Moritz, who ran the Green Step program at the time, up here. So we invited, the EDA invited Kristen, and she gave us a 2-hour overview of what the Green Step program is, which I am not going to go into tonight.
Thank you very much.
Yes, you're welcome. And so the council at that time passed a resolution that now Cross Lake was a Green Step City. And with that, Tim Bray put up signs on the north and south side of 66. And one of the questions that was asked was, why would we become an EDA city? And Cindy probably doesn't remember this, but she said, well, the younger people who are visiting us today, the younger families, they're looking for something different. They're looking for things to do, and when they see that you are environmental, sustainable city, that is a positive impact on that particular group of people. So thank you, Cindy. But with that, to conclude that portion of it, I said it's always good to have friends in high places, even if it's a granddaughter. And then the rest is history. So our first and second block, number 1 and number 2, were fairly easy to do. To obtain those blocks, we showed them that we had solar panels on the Cross Lake Presbyterian Church. We had a community garden. We had green space. We had trails. We had trees that were planted or that were bought and sold every year by WAPOA. And then we kind of stalled. And then what changed about a year ago, we got a new regional director that we work with, and she is from the University of Minnesota Extension agent in Brainerd. And she kind of re-energized us and inspired us to go for Block 3. And that was a challenge. That was a challenge. And I'll just tell you the hardest part was, one of the things that we do as a sustainable city is measure what we did this time was our electricity and our gas that the city uses every year. So Shar put together a 12-month history of what it looked like in 23. Now, at the end of 24, we're going to go back and look to see how we did. And so that is the process of the Green Step City, that you are constantly measuring your infrastructure, gets down to roads, your environmental picture. So with that, we got our third step, and they came out. Heidi is her name, from the University of Minnesota in Brainerd, and the Echo Journal, and took pictures of all of us, which included our city administrator, Sandy Farter, one of our also great members for the program that we got from the council. And an article should be in the Echo anytime now. So one of the things that I want to say is, why is it important that we do this? Well, here we are. So every year the Green Step gives an annual report at the League of Minnesota Cities Conference. and this one, last one was held in June in Rochester. And it's a 13-page, but we're not going to go through it. But I wanted to show you what happens when we become part of a larger community. And so here is listed under step 3, the town of Cross Lake. So how many people attend the conference? Maybe between 300 and 500. Now we put Cross Lake on the map, and that's important for us. And so this, along with the other communities, you can see where they are on, this light is terrible for women's hands. But anyway, it's always nice to be recognized on a larger stage, and so that's why I wanted to show you that. And then the other one was, this was also in the report, and this tells that what some of the communities are doing under the Green Step program. And if you look at the second bullet down, there is Cross Lake Annual Tree Sale, and this is what WAPOA does. And so can you believe that in 2024, they picked this out in 2015 to say that up to that point, we had sold 16,000 new little seedlings and have planted them in the Cross Lake area by various community members. And so think of the trees that have been planted now in the last 7 years. And this last tree sale was one of our best years ever. So that is just a snapshot of the Green Step program. And I want to read you the vision, which I think is extremely important, given what we learned about starry stonewort in the whitefish chain. And it says, environmental sustainability is the norm for all Minnesota cities. That's the Green Step vision. Environmental sustainability is the norm for all Minnesota cities. And then our mission is Green Step cities encourage and support city efforts for substantial action and achievement of their sustainability goals through the implementation of best practices and sharing of metrics and outcomes. So it's a great program. It doesn't cost us anything. And my final comment is, I was at a League of Minnesota City convention, and I happened to be sitting by a council member from Edina. And they were talking about the Green Step program, and I said, so are you guys a member of the Green Step program? Oh, yes, we are. And so why did you join? And so her response was, the resources that they provide us is immeasurable. And so I always say, if the Green Step city is good enough for Edina, it's good enough for Cross Lake. Thank you.
Patty, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, next we're going to move to the city administrator's report. Lori, do you want me to take that first one?
Yes, please.
We want to add Lori Conway, our administrator, as a signatory to the city checking and savings account and electronic fund transfer delegate, whatever that means.
I'll make a motion that we approve Lori Conway as signatory for the city checking and savings account and the electronic fund transfer.
Second.
Okay,
Aaron?
Yes.
Sandy?
Yes.
Marcia?
Yes.
Jackson?
Yes.
yes.
Motion
Okay, Lori, in your new capacity, take over.
I have a resolution proposal for adopting the assessment for the Daggett Pine Road between CASA 66 and Dream Island Road. We have an interest rate of 4.75, payable over 10 years. If one of the assessed property owners would like to pay it entirely within 30 days, there will be no interest charged.
Okay, need a motion to approve that?
I am asking for a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve that.
Second.
Okay, sure.
Sandy?
Yes.
Marcia?
Abstain.
Jackson?
Yes.
Dave?
Yes.
Aaron?
Yes.
Motion carries. 4-1 with Marcia abstaining.
When will those notices go out?
Well, now that we have it approved, we'll have them drafted hopefully within the next week. This week.
Okay, just so that they have days to pay it before you have to certify it?
Yep.
The other thing was, on this assessment roll, did the last property owner out there get assessed? The one that's building that road that he never got a permit for?
Off of Moen Beach Trail?
Yep. I suppose it's too late now because you didn't provide notice to him, but
That's the one off the back of one. Yeah, the one that's a variance, right? Yeah, did not get on this.
why?
Didn't realize it was attached to that.
Secondary?
It is.
Look at all these other ones that are secondary on Moen Beach Trail. Just thought I'd point that out.
The next, I would like to present a proposal from Tremolo Communications. This is something that Shar has been working on, and we're currently with Extona. The price would be the same, the difference, nearly the same, I should say. The difference is that they are local.
Good.
And the response time, and to have somebody come on site, especially when we're switching computers or have a major issue, it's nice instead of having to download through TeamViewer. So I'm asking for acceptance of this managed IT service proposal.
I move to accept this proposal.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion and a second by Aaron.
Yep.
So is it $2,700 a month is what it costs, and that's a
Approximately.
program,
We got railed last.
and you can use them as much or as little as you need them.
This is taking the place of Extona?
Yes.
Oh,
Good.
They do still need to be vetted by the police department, and it will have to give like a 60-day notice to Extona.
Tremolo needs to be vetted?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm not complaining, I'm thinking, wow, okay.
But I needed your approval before we move to have them vetted. Are you ready to vote?
Yep.
Marcia? Jackson?
Yes.
Dave?
Yep.
Aaron? Sandy?
Yes.
Motion carries.
And my last item is, I would like to recommend that the probationary period expire for Paul Satterland. He has successfully finished his 6-month probationary period. Jerry Bonesack and I have performed a performance review, and we would ask that that be lifted, along with Paul would be awarded 40 hours of vacation.
I'll make that motion that we lift the probation period and offer the 40 hours of vacation.
Second.
And a great job.
And I would just add, Paul, it's a pleasure to have you. Go ahead, Chair.
Aaron?
Yes.
Sandy?
Yes.
Marcia?
Yes.
Jackson?
Yes.
Dave?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Yep. Okay, public commission reports, public safety, who's up?
That'd be me.
Yep, okay.
Mr. Mayor, council members, just declare some equipment surplus. We have 4 chainsaws that we are going to declare surplus. The Firefighters Relief Association purchased 4 new chainsaws, similar, I mean, they're all the same manufacturer, so it'll make it easier for getting parts and service. So I'm just looking to get a motion so I can declare these surplus and find a buyer.
I'll make a motion to declare the machinery as surplus.
Second.
How do you sell that, Chip?
Probably gov bid or something. I'll talk to Char, we'll figure it out.
Okay.
Why, you need a chainsaw?
If a city,
I don't know, we're gonna have to figure that out.
employee's buying, you have to advertise it.
We have to advertise it, yeah, of course, but let me, yeah.
We've done it on Gov.
Gov deal.
Deals. Yeah,
Yeah.
right,
Too bid to buy?
yeah.
Yeah.
That's where we got rid of a lot of our stuff.
Yeah. Okay, sure, we got a motion
Sandy?
second.
Yes.
Marcia?
Yes.
Jackson?
Yes.
Dave?
Yes.
Aaron?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Park and Rec? TJ?
All right, good evening, Mayor, Council. The first item I have for you is regarding our sign design for the replacement of our current sign on 66 and Daggett, as well as on the backside. Paul, if you just want to flip it over just for discussion purposes, this would be the new sign that would be placed in front of the community center, right by the entrance of the parking lot. We have been working with the Park Commission and the PAL Foundation. The Park Commission has been working up this design with Upland Advertising. What we tried to do is we tried to encompass what we have currently with the signage coming into town with the welcome signs, as well as the city hall signage that we have with the city's logo. So we kind of took two and just tried to mesh it both together. Josh did a great job doing that, performing that request for us. So the Park Commission did approve the design, and the PAL Foundation is covering the costs to purchase both signs. They got a donation approximately 4 years ago of $4,000 for the signage, and if we install the signs ourselves, it's going to be just over $4,200, and they have approved this morning to cover those additional costs above the $4,000. So tonight we're just looking for approval on the design as well as the purchase of the signs. My goal is to hopefully get both installed yet this fall.
Nice.
So if you want to flip it over, Paul. The first one there would be replacing the maroon sign on 66 and Daggett. So it's going to be a double-sided sign. The arrow points to obviously down Daggett. And then we have those icons there that list the playground, dog park, tennis/pickleball, hiking, hockey, and snowshoeing. And then if you want to flip back, Paul, this one would be placed. So if you're coming into the community center parking lot, it would just be just off to the right-hand side, angled towards the cars pulling in, and it would only be one-sided, since folks coming from the east on Daggett wouldn't need to see it. It's just the folks coming from the west end side.
So it's right behind the mailbox, kind of.
Pretty much. The landscape on the bottom would be performed by me and my staff at a later point. This is just for the signs itself.
And the post and the install.
Correct. Yep.
I don't have a problem with the design, and PAL's paying for it, so I'll make a motion that we approve the signage that's presented here for the community center.
Second.
I just have one concern. I mean, we've got the crossed oars at the in the roundabout, and we've got the flags that have the loon, the welcome flags. It just seems like we're kind of all over the place on our logos. Does anyone else have a concern about that?
I share that with you, Sandy, but I don't know if it needs to stop what we're doing right now. I was looking at that sign thinking if we wanted to, we could stick a couple oar paddles behind it. And it would get closer to it if we decided that's what we wanted to do.
I mean, just something to provide some continuity.
Yeah. I mean, it is real similar to the other sign, the colors and the general appearance of it, but I agree. I mean, I think, you want to come up, Pat? Please do.
Right.
I think this looks great, and I think that this does provide continuity with the same look as the other signs, and the fact that the community center is a city-owned building and has the logo of the city there. I think the reason we didn't go with this before is we wanted a loon there, and if we put a loon in the lake, it looks like the eagle's going to eat the loon. And that's why, which they do. So that's why we didn't want to do that at that time. But with the loon, and I think it's beautiful. I think it looks great.
Good. That's good to hear.
Yeah, I'm good with it.
I think it ties it all in together, even though each sign has its different, unique touch to it. It's still all encompassing.
All right, I mean, I do love the design. I mean, the sign itself is beautiful. So,
Okay, sure, I think we got a motion, a second on it?
Dave?
Yes.
Aaron?
Yes.
Sandy?
yes,
Marcia?
Yes.
Jackson?
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, to the second item here, isn't necessarily something that you all need to make an action on tonight. It's more just a discussion. We've had some requests to use our facilities for political events. We talked to our attorney, and he said we have nothing in our current policies or codes of ordinances that would tell the folks no. So I just wanted to bring it up to the council, just since we're dealing with some of these requests, what is the council's feelings on holding political events in our pavilion building on our park grounds?
Well, I don't think we should get involved in it. If they want to rent the facility, as long as it's not something illegal, let them rent it.
And as long as it's offered to everybody.
Correct.
right, as long as it's not exclusionary.
That's pretty much what we just heard from the attorney. I just wanted to
Yeah.
get your guys' thoughts on it. Okay. Sounds good. Aaron?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, the last one is just an update on our pickleball camp. We had 32 players sign up, which was full capacity. The city took in $906 in revenue, and they're already talking about wanting to come back next year, and the players are all pumped up. So it was a successful camp, and we're looking at doing it again for next year. That's all I have.
That's awesome, TJ. Good job. Okay, Pat?
All right, Phil, first one would be for you for the road improvement for year 2.
So for, if you recall, we just came off of year 1 road improvements was mill and overlay and seal coats. We're looking at year 2 now. And what we've laid out is the segments that were identified in the year 2 plan, which are seal coats. So it'll be about $72,000 to seal coat 4 segments. And then also to do mill and overlay on 20 segments that were identified in the original plan. The big change is that we always had really good seal coat numbers because we've worked with the county over the last couple of years. The mill and overlay was new this year. The costs were dramatically less than what we estimated, so I've revised the numbers. That's why it's less if you look at last year versus this year. So we're recommending those seal coat, mill and overlay items. Additionally, from the original 5-year road plan, we had Harbor Lane with the trail on there as an optional. It's within year 2. It falls within the criteria of being part of the road plan that was put out for public notice and input. That one, it runs on a different track. The city tasked us with trying to get the easements for the 5 parcels that there was no easement. And actually, I just provided easement exhibits to the city clerk today to pass on to the attorney to write up conveyance documents to go with that. We have written agreement from the 5 parcels, but we don't have signatures on the easements. So we're working on that. Hope to come in October and provide that to you with signed easements. So if you add those 3, you would be looking at about $1 million. I remember what the packet said, $1,300,000 and some thousand.
So Harbor Lane is included in that $1,300,000.
It's eligible as part of the road plan. It just isn't as free and easy as the seal coat and the mill and overlays. There were some other challenges. And then the final item that was brought up goes to the trails that you talked about earlier. The city has trails that haven't really had much maintenance. So we've identified through the discussion with Public Works that the Daggett Pine Road Trail and the West Shore Drive Trail would be ones that we'd like to look at for 2025. The city set aside a budget number. This is outside of the 5-year road plan that was reviewed. So you can't stuff this in there. It has to stay out. This would be something that the city would, whether you budget for it or you get donations from somewhere else. But we're recommending you do about 3.8 miles at a cost of about $62,000 next year. And then the idea would be in 26, we would look at where are other areas that we should be doing it and try and take care of the trails as well as the roads.
I don't know, well, we are getting road assistance next year, and we can use we can use that for trails. And I forgot the dollar amount, was it?
Approximately 76,000, because right now they're estimating high around 92,000, I believe.
Yeah,
But
so
it's
we
just
would
an
have,
estimate.
we would have those trails covered with that road assistance program.
And we've got a total of 5 miles of trails in town?
That's what I heard.
What somebody said earlier?
It's either 5 or 7, I want to say it's 7, but.
Because we have Anchor Point and Manhattan Beach on top of this 3.8, so it's got to be more.
And then
than
some
5.
small segments, like, this was actually brought up in the Public Works. Tom brought up that going past the bridge, there's a small segment that goes into Sandpoint. Is it Sandpoint Road or something like that? Is that right?
Yeah.
And then past the hardware store and the assisted living and stuff like that, there's also trails, so.
But this $1,369,000, that does not include road, year one program. So we would have to add that to the bond issue and reimburse ourselves for
Yeah.
that 556,000,
yeah.
whatever it is.
Yep.
So, okay, it's a plan.
Yeah. My only question is the carryover, the money that we budgeted for this year and didn't use because the prices came in lower, where are those funds going to go?
Well, Dave,
They weren't spent. They weren't spent, so I think you have them.
But we've got them someplace.
Not for the road project, not for that.
I thought we budgeted for.
We budgeted out of the general fund for County 3 and 66, that and the pedestrian walkway.
Right.
We budgeted 750,000.
Yep.
And for beautification.
Yeah, you budgeted $750,000
Yeah.
as a placeholder for that. And on February 23rd of this year, Tim Bray gave you the estimate before they bid the project. And the city's obligation at that point was $695,511. And then in May, they bid the project, and the construction low bid came in about $159,000 less than what they estimated for construction.
That's not my question though, Phil. My question is the city projects roads that we did this year, that we budgeted for. Daggett Pine Road?
Daggett Pine Road is part of year one, yep.
And what else did we do?
Seal coating.
Seal coating. So, and that all came in under budget, correct?
Correct.
And we budgeted for that
No.
last year.
No, we estimated that, we were trying to estimate that we thought costs would be about $1 million a
Right.
year.
We put a place card in the budget of 900,000 that we were going to bond for, and we did not do that. And now we're going to reimburse ourselves with the 556,000 more than the $1,369,000.
I thought we pulled that money aside, but it was a bond, okay.
Nope.
Good,
So it's all good news, actually.
Yeah.
So-
So do you need action on your proposal at least to
Then-
move forward?
So to put the plans together for these year two, which is the seal coat and the mill and overlay, we have a proposal to the city to do that. That's in your packet. And we've included in there an estimate for geotechnical services on some of the mill and overlay roads to make sure that we actually have the pavement that we think we have there. And so we're asking to be approved to charge $2,000 to assist the city with the seal coating of the roads, and $55,625 to plan the road, to put the plan together, to go in with the county, and then we provide the construction oversight. The county administers the contract. We propose this because the county wants the stuff by the end of November and the end of December, and we need time to put it together.
but this is not including Harbor Lane.
This is not including Harbor Lane. Harbor Lane is separate. You already have a proposal on that you've started to release us bit by bit on.
Okay, so you need a motion to
Yeah.
approve this?
And we, our numbers in here, our estimate in here are not like, for the road plan are not construction, they're like total. So we include in our cost and an assumption of cost in that, so.
Okay, you need a motion to approve it? Phil?
I move to approve as submitted.
I'll second that. And it's got to be contingent, if Harbor Lane is in there, that all those easements are signed before it's bid.
Yes.
So what is the motion?
To approve the Bolton proposal
Okay,
to move forward, I believe?
Yeah.
Right?
which doesn't have Harbor Lane in it, right?
Right.
Okay.
It's not.
I
Chip
just-
seal.
I was confused, okay.
Marcia's putting her marker down. She's not going to go forward unless we.
Okay.
We're not doing Harbor Lane unless we have those easements.
Aaron?
Yes.
Sandy?
Yes.
Marcia?
Yes.
Jackson?
Yes.
Dave?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
It's 8:06. This could be a record. Nobody throws a wrench in it.
All right, next thing on the list was accept the letters of resignation from the Public Works employees. Need an action on that.
I'll make a motion to accept the letters of resignation from Public Works employees
I'll second that.
of, I was going to give the names.
Oh. Sorry.
Joe Chase.
Joe Chase and Mark.
For it.
Sandy?
Yes.
Marcia?
Yes.
Jackson?
Yes.
Dave?
Yes.
Aaron?
Yes, and I'd like to thank both of them for their time and service and efforts that they've given to the city.
Thank you.
The next one is permission for mandatory overtime until additional help is hired. I'd like to work 10-hour days.
5 days a week?
Yep,
Okay,
until we get caught up or get additional help.
yeah, okay. Do you need a, yeah?
Yes.
I move that we approve the overtime.
Second.
Are we going to get any kickback from any departments or oversight committees on that?
The union gonna throw a fit?
Shouldn't.
Okay. Okay.
Marcia?
Yes.
Jackson?
Yes.
Dave?
Yes.
Aaron?
Yes.
Sandy?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Could be record.
Okay, public forum, last public forum. Anybody have anything?
Thanks, Chip. Huh? We do. Can we show this? Oh, you can't see it. Doggone. That's what I did at first. I laughed, and then I thought, well, we have the double paddles, we have the loon, we have two of them. Can we have permission to ask Josh to see if he can design this within the color range of this banner with possibly the double oars behind it for the banner? Add more continuity to all the stuff.
I can't hear you.
They want to put paddles
Oh,
on the
I'm sorry.
banners.
I'm sorry, Sandy. Chip was doodling, and he put some oars behind the, can you see this at all, Sandy?
No.
The
Oh.
banners that they proposing? Yeah, there you go.
Now you can see it?
Oh, yeah.
This is
Yes.
a black and white version. You can see the, yeah, to have the double oars back there. Do you like that?
Oh, I love it.
Yeah. So can we have permission to see if Josh can enhance the banner look with the double oars?
Knock yourself.
Fine with me.
It just
Yes.
seems like the
Move forward
paddle
with it.
part
We're
should
doing
be
it now,
facing
let's do
up
it.
though. Isn't that the way the other ones are?
Josh will make it look good. He knows what to do.
Yeah, I don't care. Do you need a motion to do that, or?
Well, there might be
consensus?
a little bit of an additional cost if he's designing, doing a little design work.
Well, we have that on there, don't we? The 300 and...
150 to 300
Yeah.
for a design.
Yeah. So we're good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Thanks, Chip.
Thanks, Pat.
I don't exactly remember the conversation I had with Patty, but I am always saying that the people that live here and the people recreate here do love to do outdoor activities. They're in the Welcome Center often asking what there is to do in this town. So, TJ, I just want to share with you that Cross Lake Days is coming up last Saturday in September, and we have a record 39 businesses participating in the chili cook-off. I did share this with Mr. Stroshine today, that's in charge of the road construction project, and shared with him that
Little
the
pressure.
traffic is going to be, hundreds of vehicles traveling this route, and if they could.
Did you let him be a judge?
Did he
Didn't ask,
smile?
but that's not a bad idea, because the Grass Lake Ideal Lions are judges for this contest, and they provided me with 3, and I don't think 3 judges can possibly sample 39 chilies and come up with a valid winner, but, so I am looking for more Lion members to be judges. But I did share with him that the traffic would be just a madhouse on this weekend, so everything they could do to make sure that road is open and probably watered, so the dust is at a minimum, and he suggested that they would do that. So if you have any influence to make that still a reality and a possibility, I'd appreciate it.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks, Cindy. Anybody else? Not seeing any movement. We'll close public forum. City Attorney? Jordan, is he there?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good evening, council. I do not have anything to report to you guys.
God, you got a terrible speaker, Jordan. You sound like you're
I have
talking
nothing
through
to
your
report.
pillow.
Did you hear that okay?
Oh, yeah.
Jordan, do you have an update on the short-term rental ordinance?
I will follow up with you later on this week on that.
That would be wonderful.
Can you hear me okay?
Okay, just a little muffled, but yeah. What else you got?
That's it.
That's it? Okay. Awesome, thanks. Any new business?
Yes.
Oh, boy.
I would like the council to approve getting RFPs for the 2024 financial audit.
I'm not sure what that means, Marcia.
Well, that we put out requests for proposals for the 2024 audit.
Oh, I mean, and look outside of who we've been working with?
Yes.
This would take place in 2025.
25, yeah.
Well, they will start,
be
they're
for
going to audit
2024.
2024, though.
I'll second that.
Yep.
Doesn't hurt.
Okay,
Aren't you going to take roll call?
yeah.
Are you done
Yeah.
That was
discussing
a
it?
first and a second.
Okay. Dave?
Yep.
Aaron?
Yes.
Sandy?
Yes.
Marcia?
Yes.
Jackson?
Yes.
Is that it for new business?
No, I have a question about Extona and the emails. Is that whole thing going to change then again?
No, we can keep that same email.
But Tremolo is going to take care of the emails. It's going to come through Cross Lake. Okay, all right. Then my other thing was the short-term rental ordinance. That's been 2 months now that it's been tabled. Jordan, you think you're going to get at that or not? That's been 2 months. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here. I will get at that.
Have you had it come across your desk yet? I mean,
Yeah, this is
we're
one.
going to start budget time, and we should have that in place, the fees and all that.
Yes, I'll follow up with Joe and make sure that gets expedited here.
Okay, and then I have one other thing, is I would like to see the council do first readings of an ordinance, and then at the following meeting, do the second reading and adoption. Well, I think you probably have to change in the code that the enactment will take a first reading and then at the next meeting, a second reading and adoption. It has a chance for people to realize that this ordinance is taking place instead of just putting it out there and approving it and not giving the public a chance to see it.
You're speaking about the short-term rental ordinance.
I'm talking about all ordinances.
Do you want a second on, or that's a motion, right?
Yeah.
Second.
Jackson?
Yes.
Dave?
Yep.
Aaron?
Yes.
Sandy?
Yes.
Marcia?
Yes. I'm done.
I got one
Okay,
item.
any old business?
Nope, Paul has a new one.
Yeah, I got one quick new one. We had a special meeting on September 3rd. The Planning Commission made a motion to recommend changes to the land use ordinance, land use table, definitions, and all accompanying verbiage, along with the lifting of the moratorium. Because it was on the 3rd, we needed a 10-day proper publishing, at least 10 days, and so we weren't able to get it on this city council meeting. So I wanted to bring it to you guys to see if, A, we wanted to put it on the next meeting on October 14th, or do we want to have a special meeting to discuss those changes on the moratorium and land use ordinance? As of right now, if we were to publish it, I think the earliest we could do for a special meeting would be September 30th. And so we wouldn't be saving a ton of time, but we would be saving some. But I also know and want to be courteous to you guys with budget meetings coming up. You know, you guys are going to have a couple of special meetings coming up as well. And so wanted to get your opinion on when would be the appropriate time to bring that in front of you guys.
Are we holding up building with this moratorium? Are there people waiting for this?
There are some community members out there that are, most likely affected.
Well, if they want to build, I guess we should do it as soon as possible. That's my thought, my opinion. Doesn't mean it's right.
I agree with that. Yeah.
I agree, Marcia. I agree. I think we should have a special meeting.
Can we set a time on September 30th?
Why so far out? September?
10-day published notice.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, September 30th is a Monday.
It's a Monday.
Yep.
What time? $10 a.m.?
So this is just for the council? I mean, I know it's an open meeting, but just for the council to review it? It's not a public meeting?
No, it's a public.
It's public. It's not a public hearing.
Yeah. It would be for the approval of the city council. But it is a public hearing.
Oh, it is?
Public hearing.
Okay,
Yes.
that's different. Okay.
I would just soon do it later in the afternoon.
Yeah. That's why we need to publish it at least 10 days, because it's a public hearing, not just a special meeting.
5:30. How does that sound?
Fine.
Good.
No. Yes.
5:30, September 30th.
No, that's fine with me.
I'm just making sure I have it right.
Yeah, I'm good with
Okay.
that, 5:30 PM. I was just putting a date out to get, or time to get discussion going.
Okay? That it?
That's it.
Old business?
Thank you.
Okay, Jackson, it's
Motion
your
to
time
adjourn.
to shine.
Second.
Thank you.
Second.